Finally, the moment I've been eagerly anticipating. I've heard so much about you. Tales of your charm, your wit, your allure. And now seeing you here so utterly unremarkable, I can't help but wonder, what were they thinking? Really look at yourself. A pitiful attempt at bravery, all bound and shackled. Did you fancy yourself a hero in your own story? How tragically misguided. There's nothing heroic about you, nothing noteworthy, just an ordinary, boring little thing caught in my web. And the futility of your struggles. It's quite amusing. Tugging at chains, as if sheer will could break iron. Do you not see how this ends? With you here powerless and defeated, providing me with nothing but the sweet scent of your desperation. Now, about this sweat dripping down your brow. Does it sting your eyes as much as the reality of your situation stings your pride? Such a sodden, sorry sight. Let me help you out of these wet clothes. They're no armor against what's coming. There. Isn't that better? Or perhaps more terrifying to be so exposed, so raw and open to the chill of the room and the heat of my gaze. You're like a book. Your pages wide open, every fear and flaw laid bare for me to read. I must admit, I'm baffled. They defended you, fought for you, and for what? This trembling creature before me, you're hardly the prize I expected to find. It makes me question their judgment, or perhaps it's your unassuming nature that they find so endearing. Your nakedness does remind me, however, of the fragility of your kind. Skin and bone so easily torn and broken. It's stirring a hunger in me, one that's been gnawing at the edges of my restraint. Your vulnerability is appetizing, but let's not rush this delightful evening. Every moment of your fear is a morsel to be savored, a delicate delicacy to be consumed with relish. Your palpable dread is like a fine wine. It only gets better as the night stretches on. You see this room? These chains, they're not just tools of confinement. They're instruments in a symphony of terror. Each note played on your nerves, each tremor a melody to my ears. And you, my dear, are a symphony yet to reach its crescendo. Let's speak plainly, shall we? You're here because you're a pawn in a much larger game. They may care for you, but to me, you're just a means to an end. Your suffering is the message I send back to them, etched not in ink, but in the very fiber of your being. And how delightful it is to see you so. So afraid, knowing that there's no escape, no hero on the horizon. Just us in the night, and my insatiable appetite. You're more than my prisoner. You're my guest at a feast where you're both the main dish and the reluctant reveler. Remember this, though. While tonight you are my influence, my mark will linger on you long after you leave. You'll carry this night with you, a dark shadow sewn into the tapestry of your soul. And perhaps in your quieter moments, you'll even miss the purity of the fear you felt here. Now let's chat a bit more intimately, shall we? I can only imagine the delightful little gatherings you must have with them. Tell me, do they take turns, or is it a free-for-all? How quaintly perverse. You must feel quite special, being the beloved toy of such a notorious family. Does the adoration of monsters warm your little human heart? Or perhaps there's something more carnal in your affections? Don't look so shocked. I'm merely curious. After all, to be so cherished by creatures of the night, you must offer them something quite unique. What is it, I wonder? Do they suck on you together? A bite here and nibble there? It's rather amusing thinking of you in the middle of their twisted affections. Does the thought make you flush with shame or with excitement? It's hard to tell with you, cloaked as you are in your paltry human modesty. Honestly, the very idea of it, the supposed paragon of virtue amongst friends of the night. You must indulge me. How does one maintain their purity when surrounded by such depravity? Or have you not? Perhaps you're not as virtuous as they believe. You see, I find it fascinating, the dynamics of your little circle. It's almost theatrical, the way you play your part. Are you the innocent drawn to the darkness? Or maybe, just maybe, you're the darkest of them all, cloaked in an unassuming guise. What's it like being the favorite human in a den of vampires? Do they fight over who gets to corrupt you next? Or have they already marked their territories across your skin? Such debauchery in you at the heart of it. It's ironic, really. Here you are, bound and at my mercy, and yet with them, what? You willingly play the lamb in a den of wolves. Makes one question who the real pervert is, doesn't it? Let's not pretend. This isn't exactly the kind of attention you crave. What with all your nighttime frolics, I'd wager you enjoy being the center of such attention. But worry not tonight. You'll have all of my attention. Every last bit of it. The closer I get, the more irresistible you become. As if your fear sweetens the air around us. Did you know that? It makes you delectable. You're like a snack, too tempting to ignore. But not just any snack. No, something exquisite. A rare treat that I intend to savor down to the last morsel. I can almost taste it now. The rush of your life flowing into me. I'll drink so deeply, you'll turn pale as the moonlight, maybe even faint. What a delightful image, don't you think? Exquisite. Your blood, it's intoxicating. Such a potent, vibrant taste. I can see now why they hold you in such high regard. And still you sweat. The fear mingling with your blood, adding that salted note to the sweetness. Every fiber of my being screams to continue, to drain you until you are nothing but an empty vessel. But that would spoil the message, wouldn't it? So consider yourself fortunate, my dear. You've stirred a hunger in me like few ever have. Remember this night, for it's as much a gift to you as it is a curse. I'll leave you with just enough strength to crawl back to those who claim to love you. Those who will undoubtedly rush to mend what I have broken. Farewell, little one. May the shadows embrace you kindly, and may your treacherous heart beat strong enough to carry you home.